Here is Power Girl number 12, published by DC Comics. This issue was released, I believe, on August 28th, 2024. I got it in the mail a couple days ago because I have a subscription. I very much enjoy this series. I know a lot of people don't like this series because they have some complaints about the writing. They think that Power Girl is being portrayed out of character. But I'm new to the character, so that particular aspect hasn't bothered me at all. I love the cover. This is Yannick Paquette is the artist on the cover. And, the funny thing is usually I'm not a really big fan of, I don't have particular interest in colorists, or color artists, as they sometimes call them. I always thought it was a little weird when they would start giving credits to the colorist on the cover. I thought, well, whoever buys a comic because of the colorist, is that I assume that's why they were putting the credits on the covers, think, oh, somebody I like drew this comic or wrote this comic. Who bought it because they thought, oh, so-and-so colored this comic. But on the other hand, the coloring of this cover, is really contributes a lot to the art. I'm sure the black and white line art, is missing a lot of the shading and stuff like that you see, on this, on the figure and on the background, it's a beautiful cover. So yeah, and this the same is true of the insides as well. Again, it's really nicely done. Now this issue is being drawn by Travis Moore, who I don't think has drawn the series before. I'm unfamiliar with Travis Moore's work. It's similar in style to the art that was in the previous issue, which was also by a different artist who hadn't drawn the series before. It has a very similar realistic type style. And also Power Girl herself is drawn in a very feminine, beautiful looking, facially beautiful. Whereas the previous artist, or the regular artist who had been drawing most of the series, she didn't have that sort of typical Power Girl look to her. She didn't look cute. She looked just kind of ordinary. But anyway, so like I said, beautiful art. There is a funny little thing here where this talking squirrel, because they've gone to Asgard. This is like her quote-unquote boyfriend, the guy she went on a date with last issue, the cat burglar guy. We finally learn why he's a cat burglar, but he's Asgardian. Apparently this is Valhalla, and that he transported her to. And there's this talking squirrel that's a friend of his. It's kind of weird that, the squirrel is getting in her hair and stuff like that, and she thinks it's funny. I mean, personally, I would think that's kind of a little weird and gross, even if a talking squirrel, I don't think I would let a talking squirrel, who knows where that squirrel's been. I wouldn't let the squirrel go through my hair. Anyways, so she meets this guy, Siegfried, who apparently has been in the Wonder Woman series, but I'm not reading that series. And so, she beats up these guys. It's it's kind of hard to explain, why is all this happening? Why is he an Asgardian? Now, when I think of Asgard, I'm thinking of the Marvel Comics Thor. And then secondly, I'm thinking about the classic myths, the Norse myths. So presumably this is based obviously more on the Norse myth, the actual Norse myths, than the the Mighty Thor comics, because it's a different publisher. But there's all this stuff with the animals. I mean, it's kind of weird. They're eating a chicken, and then she says chicken, and so it's kind of strange. These animals are treated sort of like humans, but on the other hand, they're eating them. So, I mean, that part is never really addressed. So it just kind of brings up an unfortunate little aspect to that. That reminded me, there's a review negative review, actually, of this comic on DCComicsNews.com, I think is the address. If you go to Comic Book Roundup, which has reviews of current comics, and you type in Power Girl number 12, it has a link to that negative review. And the person did bring up something that I agreed with when I read it. There is some occasional weird dialogue. Like when Siegfried says, "Power Girl, a pleasure. Looking at you is like gazing upon the surface of 1,000 suns." And she says, "But that would instantly vaporize you into blood dust? Oh, I get it now. Yes, I can do that to you as well. You'd have to pay me, though." And he says, "Not quite what I meant, but very intriguing." So I don't know what she's meaning by you would have to pay me to vaporize him. I don't get it, but I don't know what that's about. I don't get the joke. So if someone knows, please leave a comment and explain, why would she say something like that? There were some other bits in here too. Yeah, like when, it's like the, he says, already useless in the modern human body. There's like conversation that's already in progress. And she says, "Oh, make appendixes great again." He was like, haha. It just seemed kind of corny. Anyways, I think there might have been a couple other bits in here where I was like, I don't understand what that means or whatever. But anyways, like I said, the art really carries it. The art is really great, beautiful, and the coloring is beautiful. They have a race, and eventually there's sort of a love scene there. And this is sort of the point where he, becomes not just her date, but he becomes her boyfriend. Now the other reviewer was saying, I'm not going to try to show the whole thing because, it's a brand new comic. But the other reviewer was kind of saying, like, he doesn't understand why they so quickly, he becomes her boyfriend. But she had already, issues ago, had already been kind of had a crush on him or something, for a long time. So she was already predisposed to, like him. And he was predisposed to like her. So, anyways, they get a little glimpse of like what Omen is doing now, because there's this thing that allows them to see anything that's happening. And so Omen is like crying or something like that. And that she has blood on her hands or something like that. And it says Omen's worst nightmare next issue. So this comes sort of out of the blue, because like last we saw Omen, she was, fine, trying to get to sleep when the Power Girl was worried about her date or whatever. So anyways, so the thing is, the reason he was a cat burglar, by the way, was he was returning artifacts, like I guess maybe that thing that had been taken from Asgard, and they had gone to the Earth dimension, and he was returning them to Asgard. So, anyways, he doesn't look like a typical Asgardian, but I wonder if there's a story about that, or maybe it's just some backstory that I'm not aware of, that's similar to the Siegfried character. So what did I think of the issue? Well, I enjoyed it. Like I said, I thought the art was beautiful. There were little bits that I didn't really get, but they didn't bother me really. I'm not concerned about the way she's portrayed, or if things seem kind of like silly. There's sort of thing where these people are battling, and she was like, "Oh, I'll start battling." Things that are sort of, not very serious. But like I said, I enjoyed it. It's sort of a thing where you just want a light read. And that's what this series seems to be. It's just kind of a fun series, and don't take it too seriously. It's just enjoyable to have a Power Girl series, and you don't have to really know much to be able to follow and read the series. It's probably even better if you don't know too much. If you don't know the whole history of Power Girl or whatever, you're just picking up, like me, you're just kind of picking this up blind and think, oh, I'm reading it, taking it at face value. So that might be the best way to approach this series. So yeah, I enjoyed it. I hope Travis Moore does more Power Girl. I don't know if this is like a one-off thing, or if he's going to be the regular artist. I hope he is. He does a great job, especially with his coloring too. The coloring by Sebastian Chang, who is also credited on the cover. So that's it. I enjoyed the comic and still enjoying Power Girl. Power Girl number 12. And that's it for me. Thanks for watching.